used to be a Korean news broadcaster, so whatever, this is kind of big deal now in Korea. And this is, I think this is very well organized article from from a very reliable source. Um, it's called Yonhap News, and it's like a uh, it is like a AP Associate Press or state-run newswire. Um, so there's actually a lot more than what's happening here. But let me jumpstart to the actual the latest, right? So the headline, well, the name of this newswire is Yonhap, and actually, let me just enlarge this so you can see better. Yeah. So the headline says, um, Son Heungmin uh, grabbed Kangin by you know his shirt, and Kangin punched Son, and the instead of rather than one team, the Team Korea was divided into groups, right? Um, I used to work in news, Korean, like English news broadcasting, and I was not surprised to find out that there, this wires English version, like doesn't talk about this because it's just so like state runish. It just talks about politics, economy, so out of context. So you have to explain the context, but none of the English articles did. So here I am. Um, so this part, the first part, talks about like what happened, right? It starts with how in the Klinsmann, the team under the Klinsmann leadership, there was more than just lack of absence of tactics. Uh, what was absent was the loyalty of the players. So like there's mounting criticism, right? Um, and the public outcry saying that the Klinsmann has to step down, you know, has to be fired. And I'm gonna get to that later, but recently, um, now it's about the Korean Football Association, the very corrupt, the very corrupt body that is supposed to be working for the football of South Korea. But anyway, so here it is. According to British magazine or print, The Sun, on the 14th, there was news that came out, and this news wire also, digged into this, and so like it was actually in addition to what was released by The Sun. So this newswire, which is supposed to be the best news media agency, um, also like looked at this on sources and stuff. Right before the semifinal against Jordan, this happened at dinner time. So like the dinner right before game is very special, and it's where players gather, and they reaffirm that they are the one team. And the young players in the squad, including Igangin, Seolyoung, and Jung Young. Igangin is from Paris Saint-Germain, and Seolyoung is from Ulsan K League, and Jung Young is from Stuttgart. I think that's how you say it in Bundesliga, Germany. Um, they separately uh, finished the dinner early, and they went on to play ping pong, right? So like there were other players who kind of started eating dinner later, uh, heard them playing ping pong, and Captain Son tried to stop them. But then these young players didn't listen to him. So Son was angry, and he grabbed Lee by his shirt, and Yi coped with it by punching Son, and Son actually didn't get punched because he was very fast to react. Um, wait, I have to actually. No, I'll do that later. I was gonna. I realized but I'm not gonna talk to actually like people in the live. So comment on the live. I'm not gonna react to that. I'm just gonna like focus on the report and just add my commentary later, and then later I can like you know uh, change the title of this live stream. But so anyway, so like after this happened, uh, Son's finger got like partially broken. I think that's how I was what it is like. It was kind of injured, right? And that's why you can see like during the game, the semi-final match against Jordan, you can see like his fingers were taped. And after this happened, all the players in the team went to Klinsmann and um, demand that Igangin be out of the match, the semi-final match. But Klinsmann did not do that. He did not, you know, take this recommendation or whatever the demand, and he still, went ahead and included E. Uh, and this news article says Lee Kangin played a major role, critical role in the the early days of Klinsmann leadership when Team Korea was struggling. Um, so he is a very important guy. And here it says already the second half of last year there was a uh, there was a sort of a conflict or kind of a uh, you know like differences between Lee Kangin and all the players, including Son. And this ping pong accident basically triggered was the last trigger, right? Um, and this after this, the game that kicked off the following day, and if you look at the game, Son and E, they didn't really work together. Uh, and after the match, Son famously said, "quote I will have to think about whether I will be able to be continue to be in the national team. Maybe the head coach Klinsmann will not consider me anymore. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, right?" And yeah, so this explains this perfectly. Like you can see the puzzle. If you look at uh, what happened, like in the ping pong instant, right? Because like when the people wonder why would Son say this thing, like why would Son say such a thing after the match? It was just kind of like really not like him, and so like out of blue, out of it was so random. And now we know what happened right before the semifinal match. Now we know the context, and it adds that such conflict existed not only between Igangin and Sonheung-min. Uh, the team was divided between different age groups. So even training, uh, different age groups, they just kind of like they were very cliquish. They just kind of like stayed in their own group. And these four players, 이강인, 설영호, 정우영, 오형규, Kim Jisoo, the young group was like group one, and 손흥민, Kim Jisoo, Kim Young-won, 이재성, the older guys, right? Another group, and Hwang Hee-chan, Hwang In-bum, and Kim Min-jae. They were 1996. Uh, players that were born in 1996. They were only passing to within their own group, passing balls. So like this never changed until the final or semi-final match from the start. And not only it was not divided not only based on the age, but also based on whether you're playing in the domestic league or overseas. It talks about in one instant, right before the tournament match, during a training, uh, a, a striker or attacker who is currently playing overseas, uh, he was really angry. He kicked the ball out of anger because he felt that he was, uh, the tackle against him by someone who was playing domestic league was too aggressive. And those so like after a match against China in November, these four players, Son Heung-min, Kim Min-jae, Hwang Hee-chan, Lee Kangin, playing in Europe, they left, by themselves, by deploying their own plane, private private jets. Um, it was a total like act of individual act. Although the KFA, the Korean Football Foundation or Association, allowed this, other players playing the domestic league must have felt they were not part of this, or and someone who did not give out the name, a trainer or a coach who used to once was a head coach of a Korean national team, says in this interview, basically like those players, although they were given permission to do so, should have stopped themselves, should not have done this, because this can also kind of hurt other members of the team. So this is up to like the managers, the coach, that you know have to step up and just organize, right? You cannot just give out all the freedom. But Klinsmann, coach Klinsmann, last year and even during this Asian Cup tournament, he did not do anything. He did not organize anything. Uh, so like there was a argument in support of him, saying, "Well, Klinsmann, there's one area that he's really good at. That's man management. But this instance also shows that not only he has no tactic, but also he has no player management skills. So basically, he's like incapable of anything." So this is about this is background information. So this is why uh, this is actually what matters. Like a lot of people here in Korea, people who are the commentators and for players and news media are criticizing uh, this, not this. This is just part of the iceberg, right? I mean, KFA, Korea Football Association, has not done anything. It has been idle. It hasn't just all it has been doing is just avoiding. And the head of KFA even refused to show up for yesterday's meeting. It was the first official meeting after the Asian Cup where they were going to discuss the future of Coach Klinsmann. But he did not show up because he knows that now, like, the whole nation is like criticizing him. He's not now the target too because it's not the first time the KFA is like fucking up Korean football. Like last year, the KFA released like 50 players who were involved in uh, scandal. I forget the English word. It's been a while. Come on. Uh, some players they involve themselves with gamblers. They just kind of like intentionally they lose the game. I forget the name, but anyway. So this is like the worst crime that can be committed by any professional athlete, right? So last year they released 50 players who were banned for life because of the crime. Right before it was like right after a really big match. I forget. So like the public just could not find out, right? Um, Man, I forget. Like this is what happens when you're almost 50 years old. Anyway, yeah. So basically, this is like really people are saying this is really funny because KFA has not been doing anything. They have been keeping quiet, like throughout this whole course of Klinsmann, like criticism over Klinsmann, and like as soon as the Sun from England releases this news, they quickly reacted, like right away. Right away, they quickly reacted and just confirm, well, this is what happened, right? While they have not done anything for the real important matters, right? Um, and then like after they confirmed this officially, uh, people are trying to get back to the KFA, but guess what? They You cannot hear from them anymore. They have been refusing the calls, right? So I'm not gonna get into like why the problems surrounding Klinsmann leadership and all that because I know that's gonna be like another hour, right? And I'm not gonna explain the problem of KFA, like how corrupt it is, and it always it does every decision it makes. It's all for the interest of its own. It never does anything for Korean soccer, and this is a great example, right? Because it uses this small incident as a shield. It like hides behind these players. And whose fault is it? Like when stuff like this happens, who's responsible for uh, when teamwork faces a problem? Or I mean, when there's a problems with teamwork, right? It like hides behind these players now. That's what's so like just so terrible about this. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I know any of this English news media from Korea would really talk about this, and I've worked in the media as a news broadcaster for like you know I think 7 years or something. Anyway, so as a former news broadcaster in Korea, I thought I would just deliver the latest. Okay, and there's already movement among the football fans in Korea to boycott the upcoming match by the national team against Thailand in March because the fans, fans here are so disappointed by this whole thing, right? And this, like once again, this like player um, brawl. It's just a part of the iceberg, right? What really matters is how the KFA has been dealing with this whole shit, right? Um, Additionally, like the head of KFA, uh, apparently, like he totally ignored the process, the official process of appointing a head coach of the national team because everyone else was against Klinsmann, but he still went ahead because he needed Klinsmann for his own interest. And I know there's an actual unconfirmed rumor, but he needed Klinsmann because he's such a celebrity in the international football scene. And but since this is just a rumor so far, I'm not gonna talk about it. It's about like some election for a post in Asian Football Association or something. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and yeah, please like this video and subscribe. Maybe I'll deliver this. Maybe I'll deliver interesting news out of Korea. Then no one else will talk about this fast with such a depth. Uh, no other English news broadcaster would. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.